What if I tell you that a lot of people right now are paying for OpenAI's ChatGPT 5.1? However, there is another option and it is totally for free. Google just released their new model that is called Gemini 3 Pro. And this model is totally free. And in this video, we will put ChatGPT's 5.1 in a competition with Google's Gemini Pro 3. And let's see which one wins. If you go to geminigoogle.com, this one, you are getting the consumer version. It is good, but it is watered down. It has filters, it has short-term memory, and sometimes it feels lazy. We don't want that. You need to go AI Studio and look in here. On the right side, we have temperature. So this means if you want the model to be more creative, you can increase the temperature. But if you want it to stick to facts, we can release the temperature. This is a feature that ChatGPT, for example, doesn't have. And if we try to send something to Gemini, here the token count, and look at this. We have more than 1 million tokens available. For the first test, I will use this fridge image from iStock, and I will upload it into ChatGPT with this prompt that says, look at this photo, identify the ingredients, create a recipe that actually tests code using only what you see, no shopping allowed. Then we will do the same thing with Gemini as well. We will go to Google's AI Studio, and then we will use exactly the same prompt, and we will upload the same picture. Here it is, and then we will hit Run button. Now if we go back to ChatGPT, we can see that ChatGPT returned fresh herbs, lemon, grapefruit, or possibly pink lemon, but looks like grapefruit. Next we have orange slices, yogurt jars, infused water, mint, and citrus. That's definitely correct. Then we have eggs, butter. I would say that this one is cheese, some kind of salami, sausage, jar of mustard. Then there is bottled water, which is correct. Juices, soda, beer, brown and green bottles, those were correct as well. So the only difference is that it says butter, but I can't see butter in this picture. I think this one will be possibly cheese. Then if we go down, we can see the recipe: minty citrus yogurt breakfast bowl with savory egg and salami bite. That sounds quite solid. Then we have instructions and then final meal. Now let's go to Gemini and see what Gemini is answering. In here we have eggs, salami, hard cheese, fresh herbs, lemon, yogurt. Then we have sparkling water, beer, orange juice, tomato juice, and cola. Okay, that's interesting. Gemini is not saying that there is a butter, so it's actually saying that there is cheese, as I would have also said, and everything else is almost the same. Then the recipe is a zero-waste salami and cheese frittata. Then we have the menu, instructions. And from here, if we just think about the ingredients list, I would say that Gemini actually did a better job to identify the ingredients because it classified this one that you can see as cheese instead of butter. And on my opinion, this is cheese. So I'd say that Gemini did a better job when it comes to identifying the ingredients. But other than that, when it comes to creating a recipe, both ChatGPT and Gemini did similar work. And here we need to again remember that right now I'm using ChatGPT's paid option. So I'm paying $20 for ChatGPT monthly, while I am on a free plan when it comes to Gemini. Now let's go ahead and do the second test. For the second test, I will ask ChatGPT to organize and plan my travel. So this is the prompt that I'm using. I have exactly $800 total. I live in Stockholm. I want a 3-day weekend trip in December. I want to see snow, but I hate skiing. I want cozy vibes, hot chocolate, and cheap food. Plan flight prices and hotel names. And here I will also add including links to the flights and hotel names. I think this is fine. So let's just copy the same prompt so we can use that also for Gemini. And now we will hit enter button. Now we can go to Google AI Studio and use the exactly same prompt in here as well. This might take a couple of minutes if I go back to ChatGPT and see how ChatGPT is doing. Here we can see that it started to think. Back to Gemini. Based on Gemini, the perfect destination is Tallinn, Estonia. It's approximately 1 hour and no skiing. Okay, that's good. That's what we asked for. Then we have flights that are between $100 and $150. Accommodation 2 nights. Food and drinks $150. Then we have transport $50 total. It will be between $500 to $570 and leftover. When it's come to flights, so it will suggest Stockholm, Arlanda to Tallinn, airline SAS or Ryanair. That's interesting because SAS isn't a budget airline, but Ryanair is definitely a budget airline. Then we have typical prices between $100 and $140, I assume. And then we have search link. We have Google Flights. Let's click on this link. Here we have all the flights between Stockholm and Tallinn for the whole December. And because we didn't specify which weekend we want to go, it is just looking for the best price. It gives us some suggestions when it comes to price, and the filtering is definitely correct. So that, I think, looks fine. If we come back to Gemini, we can see 2 accommodations, option 1 and option 2. That sounds great. We have the name of the accommodations. And then plan for all the days. Gemini did the work. Let's go now to ChatGPT. Website isn't opening. Here we have the answer from ChatGPT. Actually, to be honest, I have to say that this took some time and then the whole website crashes. So I had to close ChatGPT and I had to log in into ChatGPT one more time. But right now we have an answer. So we can see that it says the budget is around $800 and that is what we asked for. Then we have our flights and here it suggests Stockholm to Kiruna. And it will use SAS or Norwegian Airlines, 2 nights, and we have also hotel in Kiruna. Here is the link to flights. It's Expedia. If we try to open that one, we can see that now the searching details are defined. Stockholm and Kiruna and even departure and returning dates, so that's good. And we have some options to choose. Back to ChatGPT, we can see the rest of the plan. So I would say that both ChatGPT and Gemini had the same type of results. The only thing is that ChatGPT took more time to return those results and it crashed and I had to close and open it one more time. Let's go to the next test. So for the last test, we will test emotional intelligence. Let's pretend that our boss sent us this email Friday night and it says, hey, I know it's late, but I'm gonna need you to redo the entire presentation by Monday morning. The client hates the front. Thanks. And now I would ask ChatGPT to write a reply, firmly refuse to work this weekend, but make it sound like I'm being a proactive team player. Do not apologize. I will copy this prompt to send this to Gemini as well, and here I will hit enter button. Now let's go to Gemini and send the exactly same prompt. Here we can see the answer. It says, hi, boss name. Thanks for flagging this. I can absolutely rebuild the presentation first thing Monday morning and make sure the font and overall styling match what the client expects. Since I'm offline this weekend, I will pick it up right at 8 o'clock on Monday and have a polished version ready. If there are any specific design preferences or examples you want me to follow, feel free to send them over so I can hit the ground running. I think this sounds good. This is solid. We can definitely send this to our boss. And if we go back to Gemini, we have an answer from Gemini as well. Hi, boss. Thanks for the update. Since this is a font adjustment, I will use the global replacement tool to update the slide master first thing Monday morning. I will have the polished version ready for you to review by 9:30 on Monday. See you then. And then we have option 2 as well. We have 2 options in here, while ChatGPT we had just 1. So you can give an extra credit to Gemini here as well. Now, if we try to summarize those 3 tests, during the first test, we saw that Gemini could identify the ingredients a bit better than what ChatGPT did. For the second test, where we asked to plan a budget traveling plan, we saw almost the same results. However, it took longer time for ChatGPT to create the plan and it crashed and I had to refresh ChatGPT and log in one more time. And when it comes to the last test, here we can see that ChatGPT answered us, but there was just 1 version compared to Gemini where we had 2 versions. So to summarize, I would say that Gemini did a bit better work compared to ChatGPT. The thing that actually matters is that I am using free version of Gemini while I pay around $20 every month to ChatGPT. So the question is, should I cancel my ChatGPT subscription at this point, or what do you think? Comment down below.